right, Barry, thanks for joining me. So I'm Hank Wolff with Sothebys Realty in Vero Beach and on the Treasure Coast. Thanks for joining another interview here. So I'm really happy about today's guest. I'm going to be having a conversation here with Barry Josepher, and he helps me with a lot of my clients that are looking for financing. So he's very knowledgeable, been in the business a long time, and so I'm really excited. Barry, thank you for joining me.
Hank, thanks for inviting me to join you on your cast today. Looking forward very much.
Yes. So Barry, you're the managing director of the mortgage loan originations at Caphouse Financial. Let's just start with this. I get a lot of questions I know it's general, but how busy you are with everything going on with COVID. Are you seeing things stop altogether, or what are you seeing with your clients?
Hank, to the contrary, I haven't been this busy in years. I'm busy. I've been busier in March, April, and so far in May than I was in January and February. First, we got all of our deals closed that were originated in February and March when the pandemic came when we were first faced with the pandemic and the home quarantine orders. We work pretty much from home most of the time anyway. Most people in the mortgage lending business, as long as you have a good internet connection and a computer, you can get your work done. It's all virtual anyway. I meet clients occasionally that they want to meet, but most of the time I meet their documents through through email and through our portal. And we do Zoom meetings like you and I are doing now and phone calls, and we get it done quickly and efficiently. So as far as your question is concerned, we've seen more production in the last couple of months than in the beginning of the year before the pandemic and the guidelines for the pandemic. People are relocating left and right from Northeast, West, executives that are U.S. executives that were abroad coming back to the States. A lot of relocations to Florida. Everyone wants to live here. Mm-hmm. I think it's only going to get busier, and I think what's usually slow in the summertime months, you're going to be surprised this year. It's very busy, and the rates are historically low. Rates are in the 2s and 3s for fixed rate loans for qualified buyers. And you would think that we would have a tremendous surge in refis, which we do have some refis, but most of my business is purchase business. Every day I pre-qualify, spend at least 2 hours on the phone pre-qualifying people that are looking to finance, either relocating to the area, upgrading a home, going from a rental that's expiring and looking to purchase while it's still affordable. Florida's still affordable, and it's still one of the most desirable places in the country, if not the most desirable place in the country to live. So before it gets caught up to prices in other areas of the country that are heavily populated, we're seeing a surge in applications.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's good to hear that things are busy, because I know you work in different parts of the state of Florida. That is really good that things are so busy. Look, I've got a lot of clients that have assets that may be retired, but they don't necessarily have the income coming in. I've read a little bit about because of COVID, the changes to being able to tap your 401k. Can you elaborate on that, on what people are doing now for it and what the rules are?
Absolutely. I actually was made aware of the 401, some of the provisions that have come into effect from COVID and the pandemic for accessing your funds in your 401k. I've had borrowers alert me to the fact, and then I educated myself on the guidelines. I'm not a 401k administrator, so I would refer anybody watching this to speak to their 401k administrator. But there are guidelines now that will allow you to withdraw or borrow up to $100,000 of the funds in your 401k without a penalty. Again, I defer you to your 401k administrator to verify that. It's a little bit, I'm a finance mortgage guy. That's a different area. But I've had clients borrow up to $100,000, defer income tax with no penalties for early withdrawal, regardless of their age, and they have 3 years to either put it back and avoid paying any income tax, or pay the income tax on it if they don't put it back in 3 years. Just did a 95% loan on a small condominium in South Beach, where the borrower financed his $12,000 that he needed for his cash to close. He negotiated seller paid closing costs, and he got into a $175,000 unit that he had been renting, and his total cash was between $12,000 and $13,000, and that came from his 401k.
Wow, what an interesting new resource for clients. That's great that you're ahead of the curve there. You mentioned condos, so if someone's considering purchasing a condo, what are your thoughts on how much they should have in reserves for it, and what kind of down payment is typical for a second home like that?
Okay, for condominiums, when you're purchasing a condominium, in addition to the borrower needing to qualify income, credit, and asset-wise, the project has to qualify in certain aspects, and that will determine the maximum financing available or the minimum down payment. A condominium, to finance on a second home purchase, if you put down less than 30%, the condominium has to have 10% of their budget set aside for reserves for replacements. That is not a legal requirement of the state, and the unit owners can vote that down, and most of them do. In my building, we don't have it. If the project does not have 10% of their budget in reserves, then the borrower needs to put down 30% for a second home or 25% for a primary. Now, we can bridge that on a primary residence to 89% with a home equity line of credit. There is a way around it. On the second home, I need to review the guidelines on the home equity line of credit, because since COVID, they are only allowing home equity lines on this scenario for primary residents. So on a second home, you can go to 90% if they have reserves, and you can put down 10% if the project has reserves. If the project doesn't have sufficient reserves, you need 30% down.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
So that's a question that we would have to collectively talk about if someone's looking to make a purchase, and we'd have to ask listing agents or condo associations what their reserves are, and then help bring those options to the buyers.
Correct. Perhaps the listing agent, when they took the listing, asked the unit owner for a copy of the annual budget that they got at the beginning of the year, or just the homeowners association. It's easily accessible, and all lenders want to see the budget if the down payment is less than 30%. So it's an easy way to answer these questions on maximum financing before you start a transaction.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a good thing to know, so people can have their options open. And a lot of people, when they make these condo purchases, they plan it years in advance, as I'm sure you know. They're saving up for it for a long time, and they look forward to buying their second homes and vacation homes in Florida. So, Barry, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me and let me bounce a couple questions off you that I know a lot of people are asking now. Any closing comments before we finish up here?
Well, no, the rates are great. And if you're on the fence, now's a good time to make that decision and probably start looking at some properties. Get pre-qualified and go out and look while the properties are still affordable. And that would be my tip for this month.
I think it's great. I think it's great advice. Well, Barry, let's do this again sometime soon. I think my clients will really enjoy the information.
Thanks. Thank you again, Hank. Thanks for the opportunity to join you this afternoon.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.